Have you ever wondered what makes a parent believe their child is truly theirs? Sarah Harrison did. And for 18 years, she never doubted it until the day of her daughter's wedding. It began on a cold November night at Riverside Maternity in Chicago. Nurse Karen Reeves was finishing her shift. The ward was calm, the lights dimmed for the newborn rest hour. Two babies lay side by side in their bassinets, Anna Lee, born at 11:03 p.m., and Michael Grant, born just 4 minutes later. Their mothers were exhausted but happy. Karen moved between the beds, checking blankets, wiping foreheads. In a moment of distraction, she swapped the name tags. A slip she would never admit. Anna became Michael. Michael became Anna. No one noticed. Not the doctors. Not the parents, eager to hold their little ones. In 2 days, Sarah and her husband Tom took home Michael Grant. He smiled at Sarah and wrapped his tiny fist around her finger. Next door, Rebecca and Mark Lee carried Anna Lee, her eyes closed in sleep, a soft curl on her forehead. Both families rejoiced, posting pictures on fridges, filling scrapbooks, oblivious to the switch. Years passed. Michael grew into a bright boy who loved baseball and dinosaurs. Anna became a kind girl, drawn to painting and old books. Both children were loved fiercely. Each mother slept with relief, believing she protected her own. Then came the truth, 17 years later, on a summer afternoon that should have been ordinary. Sarah sat in her daughter's childhood bedroom, packing keepsakes for Anna's wedding. The closet was full of dresses, prom photos, high school yearbooks. She picked up a faded hospital hat from a baby shower. Underneath, she found an envelope with Rebecca Lee's handwriting. Her fingers trembled. The note inside was short. "I don't know what to do. I found this in my records. They mixed our babies. Your Anna is my Michael. He is our son by birth. I'm sorry." Time stopped. Sarah's breath caught. Her hands flew to her throat. A mistake from 2 decades ago. And now Anna, her little girl, her pride, her wedding day, wasn't hers by blood. She sank onto the bed. Images flooded back. First steps, first words, scraped knees, birthday cakes. She had loved him as her own. She swallowed hard, tears burning her eyes. Across town, Rebecca Lee sat in her living room, staring at the same letter. Her heart pounded. Her Michael, her son, was really Anna. A daughter raised by the Harrisons. They called him Michael for his whole life. He was getting married next month to David Carson. David Carson's family was influential. His father was a judge, his mother a senator. A wedding was a big affair, hundreds of guests. Rebecca looked at her husband. He shook his head. "What do we do?" They tried to call Karen Reeves, the nurse, but she'd moved away years ago. Records were sealed. They had no proof beyond the letter. No DNA test without a court order. Sarah spent the rest of that afternoon in a daze. She phoned Tom. He came home early and sat beside her as she showed him the letter. "It can't be true," he whispered. "Our Anna, a boy named Michael?" Sarah shook her head. "It's the truth, Tom." Inside the Lee household, Rebecca and Mark sat in their study, staring at spreadsheets of expenses for the upcoming wedding. They looked at each other, grief and guilt and panic in their eyes. "What if we do DNA testing quietly?" Rebecca said. "No one can know yet." Mark nodded. "We need proof before we even talk to them." David Carson, the groom-to-be, was at work at the courthouse when he got the call. He listened in stunned silence. His fiancée Anna, really Michael? And he wouldn't be marrying Anna but his friend? He pictured the girl he loved, her laugh, her art shows. His world tilted. That evening, Sarah sat at the dinner table with Tom. Their own son, James, sat with his head down, texting a friend. Sarah's phone buzzed again. It was Rebecca's number. With shaking fingers, Sarah answered. "I'm so sorry," Rebecca said. "This letter arrived for both of us. We need to talk." Sarah nodded, though Rebecca couldn't see her. "Yes, we do." The next day, the two families met at the hospital's old wing. The ward was closed for renovations. So they gathered in an empty room, pale linoleum floors, fluorescent lights humming above. Sarah held Anna's hand. Rebecca held her own child, Michael, now a tall teenager in a tuxedo shirt, preparing for Anna's wedding. They sat in folding chairs, tears falling, words choked. Then Rebecca slid the letter across the table. "I'm so sorry," she repeated. "I never wanted this." Sarah's eyes stung. "We raised her as our own. She's my daughter. I love her. And I love him," Rebecca said quietly, nodding at Michael. The air was thick with regret. Neither parent had done anything wrong. Yet nothing felt right. Outside, Anna arrived for a final fitting. She wore a white gown with lace sleeves. Rebecca peeked through the window and saw her so poised, so calm. The bride-to-be was about to step into a life built on a lie. At that moment, David Carson arrived in his suit. He saw both mothers. His jaw clenched. Anna slipped into the empty room. She saw her parents, then saw Rebecca and Michael. Confusion bloomed in her eyes. Aunt Sarah? Aunt Rebecca. She glanced at both women, tears spilling down her cheeks. What's going on? In that instant, everything came crashing down. The secret spilled out, 2 names swapped at birth, 2 lives intertwined by a nurse's mistake. The wedding planner's texts went unanswered. The dress hangers swayed in an empty room. For Anna, there would be no wedding today. And Michael would remain Michael, but his name might change to Anna Lee, or perhaps not. Their identities were shattered just when they should have been stepping into new lives. Sarah took her daughter's hand. Rebecca knelt beside Michael. They whispered apologies and hopes. Outside the hospital windows, the city moved on, cars honking, people hurrying. But inside that room, time stood still. 18 years of memories, now tinged with uncertainty. And neither family knew what would come next. One thing was clear, blood wasn't what made a parent. Love was. And love, they all hoped, would find a way to heal this wound, even if it meant giving up everything they thought they knew.